We believe ETFs are a technology no different than Bitcoin was a technology for asset storage. We believe the next step going forward will be the tokenization of financial assets. And that means every stock, every bond will have its own, basically, CUSIP. We can customize strategies through tokenization that fits every individual. We would have instantaneous settlement. Think about all the costs of settling bonds and stocks. But if you had a tokenization, everything would be immediate because it's just a line item. And so we believe this is a technological transformation for financial assets.
Larry Fink telling you what's going to be the first mass adoption of blockchain technology by institutions. It's the tokenization of real-world assets, starting with treasuries, moving to stocks, bonds, everything in the financial market that's traded. He sees ETFs as a technology. Now, XRP is built for this very purpose. But I would be doing just a hype video if we didn't recognize that Ethereum right now is a runaway leader. Fidelity just announcing a massive launch of tokenized treasuries on the Ethereum blockchain. But it's not so much who's first. It's what systems are set best for this use case. And we're going to go over some information that shows, what XRP could be a major competitor here. It has novel advantages for this specific, very powerful use case, and probably going to be the first mass adoption of blockchain by your major financial institutions. Probably not going to be payments specifically or all this other stuff. DeFi is probably going to be RWAs tokenizing these, financial instruments so they can run on a autonomous 24/7, 365-day-a-year financial market that trades just like your crypto markets. This is what they want. It's going to bring down costs, make settlement instantly. This is where it's at, and this is a big deal. And so when you look at the XRP ledger, you're like, yeah, this has the attributes. It's purpose-built, and it can be a contender here. And we will see ultimately which one of these systems are most compelling, bring on the most users. There's going to be people that want to go a different direction, try different things, try to compete with BlackRock, Fidelity, and others. Maybe Merrill and Bank of America. There's a long list of people that may jump in here. We see Robinhood and Bitstamp looking to do a derivatives exchange on top of the XRP ledger. Like, people are going to try this out. And if XRP is successful, if the builders using this technology are successful, it could be the runaway. And guess what? Then your BlackRocks, your Fidelities, who already have plans to expand to other chains anyway, they'll capitulate and roll over. So, we'll have to see this play out. But let's look at why people may want to use the XRP ledger. I did this post today. I said, Ethereum dominates tokenized assets today. BlackRock, Fidelity, they're issuing treasuries. And that's kind of like the first area where they're dipping their toes in this market. But I put, don't sleep on the XRP ledger. It's built for speed, compliance, and a real-world value. This was the first blockchain with this capability, with this exactly in mind, being able to take, whether it's a stock, a bond, gold, a dollar, whatever, throw it on the blockchain, use it in payments, use it in trade. That was the very first place that was done as the XRP ledger. It's built from day one for this purpose. They're not just jumping on a trend. And it's quite special compared to other blockchains. Number one, probably most important, it's got native tokenization. It's built into the protocol. We're not using smart contracts, which adds risk. It's got built-in trust lines, transfer controls. It's safer and faster. It's got a built-in DEX. You don't have to rely on someone else's decentralized exchange that they built on top of the protocol. It's all baked in to the XRP ledger. Native order books, AMM support, instant trading of tokenized assets. No third parties are required. So we don't have to worry about, wow, what if this third party changes something and makes it no longer compliant in our region? What happens if this third party gets in trouble? They update something and break the decentralized exchange. Like, it's just all built in there. It's native, it's safer, it's more efficient. It's built for this purpose, the protocol itself, which is quite different than other blockchains. One of the areas we really excel in is settlement. So we're doing trade. Part of that is, very fast finality. That trade is complete within 3 to 5 seconds. You have some blockchains that have really high throughput, like Solana. It might technically do the transfer faster, but it's not final for 10 or 12 seconds, which again, probably fast enough. Like, how fast do you need to be? But XRP is world class in this area. 3 to 5 seconds, perfect for atomic delivery. Low fees. Again, that's going to be important too. In an area we have a big advantage over Ethereum. We understand with Ethereum blockchain, high gas fees. Now, I see some people go, oh, well, this will never work. Like, I think you're not being realistic with that. Of course, BlackRock has looked at all of this. Fidelity has looked at all of this, and they think it darn sure is going to work. They're launching multi-billion-dollar funds on the Ethereum blockchain. Like, they think it works, and I think they know more than the average YouTuber out there. But you have to admit, having almost free transactions, like very, very low fees, you don't have these escalating gas wars, things like this. You know, predictable costs. This is an advantage for the XRP ledger and might be one of the areas where we're able to pull ahead. Scalable and efficient. Now, I thought about posting this because the reality is we can't do 1500 TPS right now, but this blockchain could get there and far beyond that. It just comes down to how much transactions per second do we need, and do we want to incur that cost? As you start to make the blockchain more scalable, you need more expensive equipment, and you have to have that need there. It shouldn't just be a vanity metric like, hey, we want to have the fastest network out there, the most TPS. If you don't need it, well, you're going to have less decentralization because there's no real world purpose for that. Make no mistake, if we need more throughput, if we need more transactions per second, you're going to get it with the XRP ledger. That cost will be incurred because there'll be the business purpose behind it. Not a big deal. XRP ledger, very scalable, and could get wildly higher in terms of TPS as we go down the road. It's regulatory ready. You can see as they're building out, decentralized identity. We have to know who has access to this stuff. Like, you can't have some criminal going on to BlackRock or Fidelity Systems here and start trading assets and putting their money in treasuries, earning interest. Like, that's going to be a big problem. And they have these solutions on other blockchains like Ethereum, but they're building them in natively to the XRP ledger as well. This is exciting. They have that eye on exactly this. You see, they have AMMs, they have stable coins. They're working on treasuries, launching tokenized treasuries on the XRP ledger. Like, they have all this. Native compliance tools, freezing assets. You don't want to do that with the native crypto like XRP or Ethereum, but for issued assets, you need that ability. Whitelist, DIDs, KYCs, all built in natively to the protocol. Very important, a proven track record. If you're going to build out the future of your business on this technology, you want to know it works. It doesn't have a whole lot of downtime. It's not going to crash. You're not going to, lose all your assets with hacks and stuff like this. It's been live since 2012, billions of transactions. It's already used by banks, payment providers, things of this nature, and it has that proven track record of reliability. You can't just get that in a day, a month, or a year. This is over a decade of, very minimal downtime. A lot of times, maybe the XRP ledger stalls for a little bit, and we argue, is it really down, or is it just some sort of disruption here? I mean, we're talking about over a decade, maybe a few hours in total when you add it all up. It's very minor, very little disruption there. Real world use case. We're showing what you can use this technology for, if at least just for a model. Ondo working with Ripple's tokenized T-bills. Ripple is really pushing for this use case, this institution. They know it's coming, and they want to show that it works. And so, these systems are going to be a model of what you could do. You don't have to use Ondo. Maybe Bank of America has their own way they want to do this, or other people out there. And I really firmly believe the best systems will win. It's not about, NDAs. It's not about partnerships. None of that matters. Who has the best solutions to this problem long term? Once customers are using it, can you meet scale? Can you do the job? Essentially, XRP ledgers, you build this out. You have a real chance at seeing this be a world-class system. And purpose-built for value transfer. This isn't about hype. This is built from day one for exactly this purpose, and I think that's what is so compelling. Now, you have other things like we lack smart contracts, which I think will be important long term. I mean, they're going to want to have something that automatically sees, okay, who's the owner of this stock, shoots out the dividend. So you don't have to manually do that. There could be mistakes, things like that. You're going to want, interest payments on treasuries, like zip that out to the people that it is intended for, things like that. So there's still some functionality here we need to get after. We need to get live, I think, before this really will be the main contender. And then it just comes down to keep an eye out on who sees the most traction. Like right now, we see big things happening on Ethereum in this realm with some of the biggest names. But this battle won't be won over the next month or even year. This will take place over time. But don't be too myopic. Don't think, oh, Ethereum can't do it or the XRP ledger can't do it. Like, look at the blockchains that start building momentum, start building success, but you have to be excited about the prospect here for the XRP ledger because it has a lot of native capability. It's quite novel. It's different than its competitors. It's not trying to do exactly the same thing in the same way as the Ethereum blockchain because that's going to be tough. If you just want to do what Ethereum's doing, maybe you're a little bit faster. They could always upgrade their network. They already have such a huge lead on you. You want to look at something that's a little bit different, has a different approach that may give it some, really novel advantages. Now let's take a look at this latest. BlackRock's BUIDL fund now holds approximately 1.14 billion worth of Ethereum. So these types of systems, beyond just using the blockchain for a, very economically important use case, well, it also could get some of the native tokens in these types of platforms. And you can imagine at scale, really, you could have, a lot of the supply getting gobbled up by this type of stuff. We see Fidelity launching a 5.8 trillion tokenized treasury fund on Ethereum. Launch date will be May 30th. Minimum investment, if you want to partake in this, $1 million. Now, in the future, what's so exciting is all this stuff is going to be tokenized, and then you can buy just fractional shares of things, which is going to open this up to totally different markets, different class of investors where, on their own, they might not be that big, but in aggregate, in totality, they're massive. It's a lot of value. And we kind of look at this also with payments, why payments are so exciting, because you can service different areas of the global economy that, again, maybe the banking system has left out. So you'll see over time that minimum investment come down to next to nothing. Whatever you want, as long as you have your KYC, AMLs, you're approved on the platform, take whatever little value you want, and you can invest or store your money in treasuries or whatever it may be, because there's almost no cost to running these systems, and that's just going to make so much more money be able to flow into here. No crypto exposure to this particular fund, but it all runs on chain. Exciting. They're starting with Ethereum, and this is what's important. They're starting with Ethereum, but they have plans to expand. So, Fidelity, BlackRock, they don't care what platform they use. They just want it to be the best. They just want it to work. And so understand this, if the XRP ledger gives you some functionality that you can't get on Ethereum, they're going to try it. And if it works, they're going to use it. They're going to adopt it. They're not like the crypto investor that's like, my coin or my blockchain is the only one. Like, they don't care. They just want to tokenize their assets and have a world-class experience and capture market share. That's all they care about. And, this move here, this puts Fidelity in direct competition with BlackRock's BUIDL platform as the tokenized U.S. Treasury market explodes past $4.7 billion, up from only 716 March 2024. So it's growing rapidly. And you see with moves like Fidelity here, it's just going to get that much bigger. We're talking trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars over time. This is the earliest of days. It's not too late. Nobody, and I mean nobody, has won this battle yet. And it's not just Ethereum and XRP ledger. You have a lot of blockchains out there that will be contenders here, where you can build really interesting, systems on top of that base infrastructure. But these are two to watch carefully. And then, throughout the rest of blockchain, we'll see who starts to emerge here. Again, Ethereum, a big leader early days, but we also are going to have regulations in this country, which is going to allow better competition on an even playing field. And it's also going to allow your banks, your institutions, big tech, they can jump in here and really build the future where before they couldn't because, maybe Gary Gensler's going to kick in your door, cause you a bunch of problems. This is an entirely new world, and this is one of the most exciting use cases of crypto technology because this is what the institutions want. They want this, and they're going to get it. It's not so much what the everyday Joe thinks the future is going to be. What's the functionality the future will be built on? And everything institutions are showing us, this is it. Let me know what you think down below. As always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.